make food for Nami that he passes off as his own because he just burns everything.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Server Restart In. It's a weekly World of Warcraft podcast with three opinionated players who like to get together to discuss their thoughts about the current state of the game. My name is Jim. I am joined by Kristen.
Hello.
And Brian.
Hi.
And the first thing is I want both of you to go to our Discord thing and click on the link.
Wow.
Brian, I hate you. You looked at it already.
Oh
I know
my
you
God.
did.
I mean, it's still a good evolution.
So Meatball has got a new model update, and it is pretty damn badass looking.
So does that mean that meatball, if you go back and to do Legion content and you have a follower following you around,
That's a good question.
does that one get updated as well?
I
Was
think
he
so.
one
Well,
of the ones that could follow you?
well, all the Gnolls are, yes. He was one of the ones in Legion that you could get that follow you around because he's the one that would like have a chance to like just kill things instantly. He was like the best companion, like bodyguard to get in Legion. But I assume the models are going to be backwards because Hogger's changing, and there's another thing too. I guess they share a model, so this might be what Hogger ends up looking at, but it's a way better model than that initial Hogger.
Did you not see the Hogger change too?
It's the exact same model. If you look at them.
Hold on, let me go back here.
I think it is.
Because
Now I gotta look.
so they updated Hogger, right, once, and they did it again.
Right, they updated Hogger with that one that's kind of like looks really derpy and all that stuff. But
Okay, yeah, the same thing. Sorry.
It's
yeah,
I think maybe the eyes are different, or it's just because he's in a battle pose.
yeah,
but
say
it's-
the battle pose is what's good, but
But
a lot better.
oh yeah, it's way better, and it's
Way better.
it is. You know,
It's way better.
look,
You know, I understand. You have to take what you can get.
no, here we go. Here we go. Here's the salt already.
You have to take what you can get when it comes to doing this stuff. I get it.
Okay. Well, apparently I'm the only one that's excited about it.
I mean,
Oh, I'm glad they iterated on it. I was afraid of getting back into that Tauren of Draenor or whatever it was. The first pass Tauren update. Whoa, that was terrible.
Tauren of Draenor. I don't remember
The first model update for the Tauren.
Did they do another one? I don't remember the initial one.
They refined them.
No, I don't remember. But I think there's been some data mining stuff or whatnot for a lot of different models. So I'm like house models and stuff like an Elven Forest and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if they're going back and updating a lot of old models. I mean, because obviously they're redoing the Gnoll race. I wonder what other ones are going to get, you know, like uplifts. Like if all like the old school stuff is going to get uplift, because they really haven't done anything like that since Kata. So
Kata.
yeah, Kata was an interesting expansion to say the least.
Yeah.
I
didn't mind Kata.
So
but I didn't really play it.
Next week, we're getting a new patch. I think it's 927, and that's gonna have a couple of updates. Let me see what we got here. It's not really the only thing that's gonna happen in the game is that new chat channel that we had talked about before, the trade services one for advertising for raiding dungeon and PvP stuff. They're adding that, not taking away the other one. We'll see how well that goes if anybody ever decides to use it or if it's just dead. It'll probably be dead within like a month because people just aren't going to use it, would be my guess. But they're also adding the auction house back into the companion app. So there'll be a mobile auction house again.
Oh yeah, it used to be on there, didn't it?
It was on the Armory app. The defunct Armory app, which they got rid of the Armory app when Draenor came out because they put in the mission table stuff. And the only thing they put in was the mission table stuff, and then they added, or was it BFA or Legion? Maybe it was Legion. I think it was a Legion because you could see what world quests were up and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it might have been Legion. So like that's kind of all it's been is mission tables, what you call it, where the world quests are, and like there's like guild chat. You know what I mean? And that's kind of it. So they're updating the functionality of that, and that's all that's coming out in that patch. So, yay, I guess. There was a blog about the Dragonflight dungeon previews, which I haven't really looked at, but might take a quick peek at that, kind of know what's going to happen there. I do know that the Scourge Invasion stuff is happening in WoW Classic right now. Came out yesterday. So
really?
Because Wrath of the Lich King Classic's coming out in September.
I didn't know it came out already, though.
It was just yesterday. It just started. The Scourge Invasion stuff.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's... let's see. So, Season 4, we're in the second week. And we did our first Fated Raid Sunday. And I'd say it went pretty well. It was not as hard as I thought it might be, but it was still at the point where we had to do the mechanics. The fated powers didn't really seem like that big of a deal. Just that adding the mechanic in. As long as a few people were handling, there's the one where you got to click on it to spawn the stuff and kill it down to get a buff. That kind of just flowed with things. So that was okay. I don't think there was anything really difficult about anything. We were a little slow because it's been a while since we've really done that at any type of difficulty that was, not walk in and kill a boss in like 30 seconds. But I don't know, it was fun. This week they had the mythic stuff, or the weekly quest is the mythics. Get a 291 piece, which is pretty nice. And I noticed I went in to do Sanctum of Domination on LFR to get that stuff done, and I went tank or whatever, and it was alright. There was a couple of the Fate Scribe boss with the runes. That is still a fucking nightmare on LFR because the first time he enraged because they weren't DPSing him fast enough, so he enraged. But, I mean, they did fine with the runes and all that stuff. But I did get a piece of loot from there that was viable to upgrade in the Creation Catalyst. But I also have a LFR piece from the first week that's not. So now I'm on my probably 2 days after putting in a ticket. So it probably means I have 5 days, 19 hours or so average wait time left for getting an answer to my ticket, for them telling me why I can't do this piece of gear. Because it sucks, because it would be an upgrade, but it's also a tier piece. So
I had a ring that did the same thing, but I didn't know if rings were one of the ones you could do before.
I don't know if you could do rings. I don't know. They probably missed some stuff. Apparently, people were getting pants from... There's a certain... Or cloth boots. There was a certain set of cloth boots from the Mythic Plus line in the vault that weren't scaling and were coming in at... which means that they were probably from Karazhan because they were coming in at eye level 51. Which is kind of shit when you're expecting like a 285 piece or higher on it. So
sounds like an upgrade to me.
What's that?
It sounds like an upgrade to me.
Yeah. But I think there's something about the Trashmaster cloak in Mechagon. If you do it on a Mythic Plus key, it's not going to give you the quest anymore, because I think people were taking it and turning it in to get the other cloak that has maybe better stats on it, and like getting the quest piece or something like that. I don't know. They're taking that component of it out because I don't know if it scales properly or whatnot. So yeah, I don't know. It was they put out an update about Arclight Rumble. Yeah, everybody's
what?
Arclight Rumble. Yeah, everybody's excited about that. All right, we'll just skip over that.
Nobody
announcement is
cares about Arclight Rumble.
What? They just said they're still in closed beta testing, but they're adding some stuff.
Phone game. Who cares? Just release it.
They probably don't even. They're probably trying to salvage all the stuff from the other game and move it in. The one that got canceled, the super secret one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a pretty slow week. I'm not really. I'm still playing WoW, not as much as I was. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. I did find something too for once Dragonflight comes out. There is a huge reduction in XP for 1 to 60. Like,
really?
Oh yeah. So
isn't it quick already?
It is. So it's going from the. Let's see. Right now it's currently 4.85 million XP to get to level 60. And in Dragonflight it'll only be 2.1, which is a net 56.9% reduction. And they have a handy little chart. It looks like levels 1 through 9, it takes less XP, significantly almost up to like 20% less XP. Levels like 9 through 30 or 31, I think, take more than they currently do. But then after that, it just plummets down to like 78% less XP to get like to level 50. From
I guess as long as they still map the XP to whatever timeline you pick.
That's the thing, is they said it's also showing that Chromie time has no penalty from levels 51 to 60. And I guess currently right now it has a penalty. Like an 89% penalty. And I'm wondering if that's if you stay in Chromie time after level 50, since level 50 is 50 to 60 is current stuff. There are some hot fixes already for Sanctum of Domination that are out, adjusting some of the fate power stuff, which is good. I mean, it didn't feel too bad in LFR, even though it's LFR and nobody really does the mechanics right, but it still didn't feel like too bad of a fight. Or any of them really didn't feel that bad. So hopefully we will not have any issues. They're doubling all the Cosmic Flux rewards for PvP Mythic Plus in raids. And now you'll get it mailed to you if you don't loot it.
What?
Like it used to be if you didn't loot it from the bosses. I guess currently, if you didn't actually take it off the boss, it wouldn't get mailed to you. And that could be because it was recently added to those things. I don't know if they were, like some of these older raids, I don't know if they were necessarily, like you didn't get Cosmic Flux from Castle Nathria or Sanctum of Domination. You know, you only got it from Sepulchre because that was when it was introduced, was that tier. Right. So they might have had like a little weirdness. Yep. That's kind of really, it's really not much going on. Free t-shirt day's coming out next week.
Free t-shirt day.
I think I got them all. So I need to look and see if they added any new ones. And if they did not, all I'm going to do is take the extra ones I had from last year and just fucking rake in some money because people will be buying them. Because they don't want to wait and fall.
I'm not sure I even know what you're talking about.
There is, so free t-shirt day. There are, this says vendors selling t-shirts for free, which, I guess I'll go check that out. But there are guys that walk around the capital cities, like in Orgrimmar, that you follow around, and he just shoots like with a t-shirt cannon, and you follow him around and you catch the t-shirts. And it's, you know, there's only so many ones that you can get, and like they're shirt mogs, right? So I have so many of them.
I did not know that this was a thing.
It's one of the micro holidays. Yeah.
I had no idea.
It's so stupid, but like while it's going on, people will buy them because they don't want to wait to catch them from the guy. So I just sent, because they're not soulbound. So they're all on my bank tune. They're just sitting there waiting to be sold. That's going to be fun. Because I bet the prices are going to go up and I'll make a killing. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Let's see it. Oh, Legion Time Walking's next week. Big deal. Yeah, I don't know. It's been relatively quiet. Season 4 is just kind of, you know,
let's be real. They are talking so much about Dragonflight everywhere, and it has undermined the ability to throw out a patch to keep people entertained until it comes out, in my opinion.
Well, what's funny is I was on Wowhead looking through the news stuff, and I'm like, man, every fucking article is Dragonflight. I'm like, every fucking page, what the hell? I'm going through. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, there's like nothing about anything else but Dragonflight Alpha. Like, not even, when I looked up and I go, oh, I'm on Wowhead Beta.
Oh, even the all view or whatever, there's just tons of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's pretty ridiculous, and it's just like
it's really hard to
did you hear
try to keep it.
What? Hear what?
About the controversy with the flight thing?
What flight thing?
There's a flight thing where it's like on a 5-minute cooldown, right? And you go super ridiculously fast, like ridiculously fast. I think it's for dragon riding. And they nerfed it, so you're not going as fast anymore. And everybody complained. Like, everybody was like, it's on a 5-minute cooldown. Like, what the frick, right? So they're like, we heard you. It's okay. We heard you, and we're going to fix it. They put it on a 4-minute cooldown.
So people were complaining because they slowed it down?
They slowed it down because it's on a 5-minute cooldown. It should be, it's not something you're going to be doing all the time, but people were going really, like, you were going like 950% fast. Like, it was very fast. And they slowed it down, and yeah, people were not happy.
Well, you know what? it might not be intended to be that fast at all, and it might circumvent certain like things they want you to do. Like maybe it make with it being that fast, maybe because there are like the races and stuff in there, and like the timed races and stuff like that you do to get things, and like maybe it lowered the difficulty of it to the point where, you know, it was, you know, not whatever. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it was interesting.
So that is funny though. I didn't know that. That's pretty funny. Apparently they're adding some engineering toys right now that will affect the weather. One's called the centralized precipitation emitter, which I guess for up to 2 hours allow you to experience the fear of nature by choice.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Wrath pre-patch, I've been struggling to find it. Testing starts.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Is it the beta for the
on PTR? Yeah, PTR started. Yeah. So we're probably
okay. So the pre-patch event hasn't started yet. It's the beta for it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my bad. I apologize. I got it wrong.
Well, it's PTR, so I don't know. Like
that means it's gonna be out like next week.
Yeah, I don't think it's the beta itself. I think it's all the PTRs for BCC, so anybody could actually do it instead of limited access.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think so. I was just in there yesterday or day before. Well, it wasn't yesterday, right? Like, yeah, I don't. But I also know that my inside knowledge person he would have already told me about it because he is stoked for it.
They're moving the interrupt for warlocks off of the Fell Hunter into a talent for warlocks, so that now the warlock themselves can cast it as opposed to having to have the Fell Hunter out.
Oh, interesting.
They said that they're aiming to allow for more pet diversity and content where Fell Hunters feel required, like dungeons and PvP. So now you don't have to take them for the interrupt. You can take whatever fits your play style or your build or whatnot.
They're transmogging pets, basically.
Transmogging them or just genericizing them?
What's the difference?
I don't know.
I mean, it's true. Like, that's like, I'm surprised they really haven't already done that to hunter pets, just so you can take whatever you want.
Well,
you really can at this point. It's very limited to what or how they differentiate.
Yeah, hunter pets I think are a little bit different because hunters already have an interrupt anyway.
Well, not just interrupt though, like the uniqueness of the different pet types and stuff.
They should put pet talent trees back in, like they used to have. You know, and just do that, and then you can have, you know, a cat pet that you tankify, and maybe if you take like something like, maybe you give him an ability called natural armor, and the model changes with it, like to make him look.
Or you gotta give him, or you gotta give him plate gear. Cat plate gear.
That is such a fucking untapped market. If they would fucking no, if they would add that shit into the crafting abilities, like nothing like super crazy, but like to where you could craft gear for hunter pets.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the problem with it is that you have a multitude of different models and stuff like that for pets that, maybe it's not that many because you just need the basic type because they're all basically the same. Maybe it would only affect like some of like the unique models, like if you get Razan, like undead Razan or whatever, because he's already got all that stuff on it that might clash with that. But yeah, just you could have a market for pet.
I mean,
gear.
even this just an incentive to go tame some really basic pets.
Yeah, like the
Pet
lynx
models.
paw. Yeah, from
Yeah.
oh my god, you go and you tame the fucking green cat with the orange stripes from fucking the Fell Forest, and then you give him red plate battle armor, so he actually looks like fucking Battle Cat from He-Man. That would be fucking amazing.
I mean, it sounds cool, yeah.
It's an untapped market. It would be amazing. Or you could do it for your mounts, right? Do it so that you could custom. I mean, because okay, so that's something they started with the mechanical cat mount in Mechagon, right? They made it customizable to the point where you could change the paint scheme on it, right? Which is great, right? You know, maybe that'll eventually lead to some sort of dye system. But with the dragon mounts that are coming out in Dragonflight, you get the ability to customize them and to earn upgrades for like their views and stuff like that. And I'm wondering if that's going to lead to having that for all mounts. Like if they can somehow find a way to bring that back to a or what do you call it? Retrofit it to like existing mounts and stuff like that. You know, maybe not every mount, you know, because some of them already have stuff on there, but I mean, it is probably a big asking, but it would give people something to do in the downtime, something that's, you know, not invisible, because obviously people can see it. I mean, obviously druids don't matter because they don't ride their mounts anyway. So, you know, that's a subset of players that I guess really kind of misses out on it, but you can still use them. Not that you would, but it would be it would be an interesting system. You know what I mean? It would be something, because that's what they need. They don't need these new big systems or whatever that really only matter or whatever. And I think maybe Dragonflight's kind of like that, because I don't know if they're going to put things in there like in the earlier zones that you can't get with the dragon mount right away until you go and you skill it up and whatnot. Then you have to come back and get them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like
Yeah, they're really bad about that, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like making content just for the beginning of it, and that's it.
Well, I think the whole dragon riding thing is like, it's going to start off basic, and as you level through the zones, which I'm guessing is going to be linear. I haven't heard anything about it not being linear. But it would, you know, and it progresses. But if they would leave things that are kind of out of reach at the beginning that you would want to come back and get, you know, and just something to do in the downtime or the off time. And the problem is like, how do you make enough of it? And they don't do that. They don't make little things that make you want to keep playing and gather stuff. You know what I mean? It's like, I started playing Guild Wars 2 again, and there's so fucking far behind on shit. But there's so many different things to go fucking do. Like, each map has, like, goals for completion. Like, you get, like, that's how you kind of, like, level up or earn different things is, you know, you go to all the waypoints, all the points of interest. They have vistas, which I think Final Fantasy XIV has in the way of like sightseeing maps or sightseeing stuff, where you go and you click on it and it gives you this nice big scan of the environment, you know, just to show off like the area and stuff like that. They, you know, and they got like their public quest system, you know, that you go do stuff or you fill up hearts or whatever to get karma that you use to buy things with later. But like, it gives you something to do. It gives you a reason to explore the entire map. And they have like these mastery points. They have fucking jumping puzzles, which are really fucking good. Some of them are really fucking frustrating. Mm-hmm. But like during Halloween, they have a festival and they have this like jumping puzzle like race called like, I think it's the Mad King's Tower. And it's just like this broken clock tower with junk all around the side, and you have to run up it and it's like it's spinning, and like as you're going up, like this gas is coming up underneath you, and like if you get hit by it, you lose and you get sent back to the beginning. You don't die or anything like that, but like, and it's just like it's meant to be done multiple times in a row because you don't necessarily know the right path right away. Because, you know, like sometimes you could jump left or jump right to this piece or that piece and you don't know and you could make a wrong choice or whatever. But like, it was funny, like a while ago, I went back and it happened to be that I went and did it again. And I just had the fucking muscle memory from doing it years ago because I did it a lot. And but it's just neat. It'd be nice if they would take stuff like that and put it in. Like, I really think that they need to update the transmog system and add dyes. You know, just
100%.
add a way to change gear color and dye it. You know, whether it just be like highlights on certain pieces or just main components. It does, like Guild Wars 2 has a really good dye system. Like each piece of gear, if you go in there, it has a couple of different boxes that show the color, and it changes like the major and minor parts of it and whatnot, like the highlights and stuff like that. And they have a lot of dyes, and you know, add something like that. They would give inscriptionists something to do because they already mill plants and they already make inks. It wouldn't be that hard to add dyes to that, or even make it a fucking separate you know, system. You know, it's like, or make it so that it's something that you have to include with, like, when you know, put it so that it's something that you add as an optional reagent when you're actually crafting the piece of gear, so that the gear gets crafted in that color, and maybe make it so that, you know, you can't necessarily change. I don't know. It's just, it would be interesting to see that kind of thing in there. You know, customize your mounts, add dyes, put player housing in, put a reason to go back. You know, I think that, I don't know, it would be nice if something like that could happen. You know?
Yes.
I think that it would give us a lot. It would give you something to do during the off season or during the downtime. It'd give you a reason to log in and go do something. It's like, oh, well, you know, it's like, oh, I'm just going to log in and go farm some herbs so I can make some dyes. Or I'm, you know, it's like,
yes.
You know, there was that one thing that I really, this one like Dragonflight race that I really couldn't do, but I've gotten, you know, I did some more questing. I got some more abilities. Let me go back and try it again. You know, my abilities are a little bit better, you know, something to go back and do, you know, and it's just like put things out in so that's the thing too. Like if you could, like in Guild Wars 2, like you go into certain puzzles, you would think that adding mounts, because they added mounts that do different things. Long jump, high jump, you know, kind of levitate or dive in the water, glide, fly, teleport, you know, and it's like when we first encountered that, I was really curious about how it was going to affect some of these like puzzle areas. Like it kind of invalidates some things in certain areas, like getting up to certain points to hit a mastery point or a hero point thing. But like jumping puzzles and stuff like that, if you go into certain areas, it will put a debuff on you so you can't mount and you can't use the glider because it's meant to just be a jumping puzzle. So, I mean, you know, they could do something like that. So, I don't know. I think it would be interesting.
Problem is, like, the fact that they have this problem because they don't have a fully persistent world. And rather it's just a carnival arcade game instead.
Well,
especially in the Warcraft universe, is such a huge loss.
Well, I mean, I think every game has stuff like that because even Final Fantasy,
they all suck too.
Well, it's like in Guild Wars 2, there have been certain events, like there was like stuff during like the first story where like the main hub that was like the neutral city got destroyed and rebuilt, right? and you can't go back to the old one except if you're doing like old school, because they have like a seasonal thing called Living World, where it's kind of like between X-Pac like story missions and stuff like that, and you can actually go back and redo them because they have their own achievements and stuff like that. If you do that, you can go to like the older versions of it and whatnot, but there's certain zones that are just different after certain events have happened and stuff like that, but you can still go back and do stuff there. And I don't think that the zones need to necessarily change per se, but I don't know. I did see some slight spoiler stuff out there that when we come back, when the story picks up, is going to be some sort of time skip type thing. So it's not like...
Pretty sure it's been like pseudo confirmed, hasn't it?
It has. I mean, there's data mine conversations or whatever. I didn't look and see who was involved. I don't know anything about it, but it only makes sense, right? I guess it does and it doesn't, because...
Well, I don't think it does, because we already know that they were 2 weeks ahead of us when they fell into the portal at the beginning, and then we chased after them or something like that.
So the thing is they felt like they were there for weeks. We don't necessarily know how long it was.
Oh, that's right. I remember us talking about this before. We can never actually confirm that. Oh.
I don't know if I've ever looked hard enough to really find if there's some confirmation, because like a lot of the stuff leading up to it was them getting captured, like this thing where Anduin gets taken away. We don't necessarily know the time frame between that and going and talking to Bolvar and going in there. It could have been weeks. I don't think it was weeks. And we also don't know that if it's just like a mental thing, like they felt like they've been there weeks because there's like they're torturing them, and maybe it just felt like that. We don't, but even then that would seem that time would flow faster in the Shadowlands, meaning less time would have passed out here. So it could just be not necessarily like a time skip because we were somewhere else, like in like a weird, we're in the afterlife and they're in the real world, like time dilation like that. It could just be the story just says several months after these events or something like that, where everything was kind of, whatever, peaceful for a few years, and then this happened. You know what I mean? Like it could be something like that too. It could just be a narrative time skip and not like anything that's because we were on a different plane of existence.
It is interesting how they have to do, or they take advantage of the opportunity to tell the story, right? Because at that point, it's like reading along in a ongoing story, but we skip to the point at which the Dragonflight era begins, right? So it's kind of sad because it'd be really cool to have more of the story in the game between, or the story that's going to evolve, the many different stories that are going to evolve between Shadowlands and Dragonflight. If we could experience some of those stories between when we're done with Shadowlands and before Dragonflight begins, right? So like in season 4, have some of those stories already in there, right? Have more quests back in Azeroth that break us back in slowly. Rather, the perspective of the expansion is told from literally the timeline fast forwarding and then stopping once Dragonflight is relevant. And that's a part of like the absence of persistence in the game, right? That we could be experiencing generally, right? And it doesn't have to be like super deep, but having more to the world where you feel like you want to be in it rather than just show up whenever something happens.
Yeah, there could have been like the thing is that I think in World of Warcraft, right, the main story stuff is told through quests, right? And quests usually have they're used for gating content, like do these quests before you can go do these dungeons or do this raid or get this gear, right? Or unlock this system. So you got the quest to do that. They're a main source of leveling. And that's kind of it. You know what I mean? It's like maybe some gear or something like that. Or, dailies. Like when dailies used to be a thing, there was a way to get things, right? They never really used them. But once you hit max level, you only do quests to unlock things, right? Like you had to do the quest line in Zereth Mortis to unlock the different systems over there, right? Like the rune, whatever that fucking ball Pokepox system, like those attunement things or whatever, the language, all that stuff. Like you had to do the quest to unlock it. It wasn't, and they kind of told story, but most people just pick up the quest, go to the blue marker, do the shit, and go back, and it doesn't mean anything. And I was redoing some stuff in Guild Wars 2 because each character starts off with a personal story, which you do, which takes you into instance things and whatever, and it's the story of the game. And then I started doing one of the Living World seasons, which was season 2. And I don't know if it's just because, I already have all, like, season, the story picked up with the second expansion. But this Living World thing is like, it's a bunch of quests in a bunch of different parts that they release every couple weeks or every month or something like that, episodically, and it led up to the patch. It basically set the stage for it. So like if they would have something like that, it was almost kind of like, how like we had the quest lines in Suramar? Like Suramar was gated. And it's like every week there was a couple more quests to do. It would be kind of like that, but like if they had something they could do that was actually like important to people. And the problem is there's no focus on these side characters. It's like we got the faction leaders, and like that's kind of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like they don't do story. Like they did a little bit afterwards with patch 9.2, or after all the stuff with Sylvanas, right? After she got sent down to the maw and all that stuff. Spoiler warning if you are that far behind. But when she got turned over to Tyrande and given her penance and all that stuff, it's like he had a little bit of that, but that was just like over and done with in like no time flat. There's no like meat to any of it. Yeah, I do think that they could flesh it out, give you more things to do that make you feel tied to the world. It's just like, put more class or not class. You could put class quests in there and stuff like that, even if it's just story stuff, like sideline story stuff to do with like have the hunters go back to the Eagle Lodge or whatever the hell it's called.
Yes.
It's like, and don't have it be anything major.
It doesn't have to be super anchored to any kind of like timeline of shit happening. Also, right, the fact is, like, even Northrend is still a thing, right? Even though it's just paused in time for us, which sucks. But like they could have did something with that, right? Even the Tuskar, we could have did something that up there that kind of brought us full circle with.
The easiest way to do that is to make it instanced, right? And I think that that's why Guild Wars story system works so well. It's like you get a marker on your map. It's like, go here to advance the story. You go there and you do it. You go into an instance. It's a small subsection of the zone. You can't leave it. And that's where all the stuff happens. So you're outside of the world, but still in the world. So you could have something like that. You could have us go to Milwaukee Harbor or whatever and go meet with the Tuskar and do some stuff with them, but have it be instant. So like, you maybe it's like a fishing expedition. You go out there, it's like, hey, we found some real, like Like the shit we did when we went and got Proudmoore's body in BFA.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you got on a ship and you went out into the middle of the ocean and you did story stuff. And you dove in the waters and you found bodies and you brought his body back, right? It's like that you can't go out into the world and find that place. It doesn't exist.
Right.
But you could do that with stuff for the different things. You know, it's like you could have the Death Knights. But coming up to this, you could have had the Death Knights be recalled by the Four Horsemen because what Bolvar called the Four Horsemen back, and he basically, told them, hey, if this happens, kill me, blah, 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 or stay away, anything. We could have done quests like that. We could have had quests to go out and do things and go and do like scenarios. They could have made scenarios with it. It's a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
I mean,
but once you get,
they could easily just find a way to make these things.
Yeah, it's a lot of work up front.
Cookie cutter, like, but I don't think like none of the shit they would make is super game breaking at that point, right? We just want to be a part of things, and I think it'd be cool to see how characters roll down or roll back off of an event like Shadowlands. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of like they've gotten away from really good storytelling. And it's like all the good storytelling.
Well, they do it like the Disney World version, right? They put you on a circular ride and just tell you the stories, and then you get off. There's nothing exciting about that. So
yeah, and then if you want to ride it again, you just do it again on a different character.
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah. But I was gonna say they could bring back profession quests. Like that's another thing too. It's like hopefully maybe they'll add this with this new system. Like if you want to go learn like a certain thing, you go talk to one of these Drakthir guys or one of these Drake guys or whatever that's out there. Not Drake the rapper, but one of the dragon people. And it's like I really want to advance, my plate smithing for, our, helmets or whatever. So you go do a helmet quest. He says, okay, well, you need these ingredients. You can probably pick some stuff up here, but, it's really good if you get it fresh. And, it's like you need, seashells to crush up to make nitrate or something like that to stoke the fire or something. You know what I mean? Just different things like that, and you go out and you do that. Or if you don't, want to do that, you don't, but I mean, put stuff in there to make it, it's like you could go do a bunch of stuff for Nami, and make food for Nami that he passes off as his own because he just burns everything, right? He's like, oh, I'm going to teach you how to make a souffle, and he shows you and it just turns out to trash, and then you make it and it comes out right, and he's, oh, this is great, and then he turns around and goes, look what I made, because he's an asshole.
Look what I made.
Look, I cannot burn food, it would be nice. It'd be nice to have something in there to do. Something that reconnects you with everybody. So yeah. I don't know. That's kind of really it. It's still been kind of a slow week. It's probably going to be slow until, Blizzard decides to give us alpha access and we actually have something worth talking about. I don't know how many...
I don't give a shit at this point. I just want the game to come out.
So that you can play it for 3 months and be done?
No, so I can actually play something. It's so painful to try to do anything in this game right now. I fucking hate Shadowlands.
I don't hate it. I'm kind of ready for something new. It's like I really want to go on and do mythics, and I really want to go on and like push keys and all that stuff, but like I don't.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work. Especially when you're pugging it. And it's just like...
Well, schedules don't help. We have weird schedules.
I don't think schedules have anything to do with it. The game is just tired of seeing everything in it right now, so...
I mean, how many times have we put something in the thing I mean, not now, but lately, where like nobody responded because schedules just didn't align.
Yeah.
Like,
I get it. Like getting a group of friends together is a little bit more difficult because everybody's in the same spot. They're kind of done. A lot of people are done and not playing.
People.
A lot of people aren't around anymore, or because of work and all that stuff. So, and it's just like I can only deal with randos so much because sometimes they're chill. We did a lower Karazhan, whatever. Everybody was chatting. It seemed pretty good, right? And we were doing okay. We ended up to the point where we weren't going to time it because the healer wasn't dispelling the thing off the last boss.
Oh, I remember you talking.
Because he puts the debuff on everybody, the huntsman, Adam and the huntsman, and only one person really has it, and you got to dispel off of it. And like, he didn't understand, or they didn't understand that. Yeah, you had to do it. You had to do the right one, and like the one dude was like, "No, I'm telling you who you have to dispel because I can see who it is." And like, I think we wiped twice, and then the tank just went offline. And it was just like, are you fucking kidding me? So I'm like, hold on. We gave him a minute or two, didn't come back. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go switch to tank. And they're like, oh, you can't do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. It's like, I just got to walk outside, change my spec, and come back in.
Yeah, if you're on the last boss, it's right there.
No, it's not.
I thought it. Yeah,
you have to jump. No,
isn't it?
The path down that you go is you clear a certain way because you're clearing things, and you jump down into the room where everybody is, and then go down the stairs to the last boss. We didn't clear down the stairs. The path we took.
It's funny because the last boss is the first boss in the raid.
Yeah, if you walk in that way.
That's why I'm like, well, that's the.
Yeah, so I mean, but I went out, whatever, got down, and then we four-manned it because the dude didn't come back, and it was fine. And it was just like, I'm like, we can four-man it, and we killed it the next time. It was a little bit long and all that stuff, but I had to res somebody twice. But I mean, though, those mechanics in that fight are kind of hard to see when they overlap and stuff. It's kind of a cluster of a fight, but but we did it and we finished it, and it's just like, and then everybody just leaves, and it's just like, nobody's like, oh yeah, nobody was excited that we did it. I'm like, okay, well, so I don't know. It is what it is, so it's not inviting, but I think that that's a good note to go ahead and wrap things up, and I don't want to, drag anybody down any lower than we already are.
Oh my God. Dang.
We're on a downer note. We're on a note.
I mean, I feel like that's me all the time in WoW.
Yeah, I mean, I was more so talking about Brian and myself, but
okay.
We've come down to your level.
Oh, join me down here.
No.
Join me down here. It's a great place.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you.
Check us out at facebook.com/server restartin, or tweet us your favorite fish at server_restart. And we'll catch you guys next week.
Trying real hard to sell that.
Trying to reel him in. Yeah, I'm trying to reel him in.
You're
Bye.
funny.